Burkina Faso has made waves on both the African continent and the global stage, shaking up the entrenched systems of corrupt leadership and the Western-dominated financial order. In a bold and strategic move, the country has managed to pay off an extraordinary 3,000 billion FCFA, roughly $4.79 billion, in domestic debt since the beginning of 2024. This remarkable feat was publicly announced by Prime Minister Joachim Son Kilom de Tambela during the 21st National Government Private Sector meeting held in Bobo Dioulasso on November 22 to 23, 2024. This achievement marks a significant milestone in Burkina Faso's ongoing journey toward financial autonomy and economic stability. The Prime Minister's office emphasized that this repayment is not just a number on a balance sheet, but part of a larger, deliberate strategy to stimulate domestic economic activity and bolster local businesses. By prioritizing its own debts over the demands of foreign creditors, Burkina Faso has signaled a clear commitment to economic sovereignty. Tambela also stated that the government is actively working to raise further resources from the financial markets to settle the remainder of the country's domestic debt, reaffirming the government's determination to tackle its financial challenges head-on. As of June 2024, Burkina Faso's domestic debt had risen to 4,195.16 billion FCFA, up from 3,979.84 billion FCFA in December 2023, a 5.4% increase. The country's total public debt now stands at 7,354.54 billion FCFA, with domestic debt making up more than half of that sum, at 57%. This growing debt burden is compounded by the ongoing security and humanitarian crisis caused by terrorist attacks in various regions of the country. With resources already stretched thin, the government has been forced to turn to financial markets to fund public investments, including essential infrastructure projects and social services. Despite these pressures, Burkina Faso has impressively raised 2,083 billion FCFA in recent years, often with investor demand surpassing the government's target by more than double. This success reflects the strong investor confidence in Burkina Faso's financial management and its ability to honor its commitments even amidst adversity. The funds raised have been channeled into key areas, including infrastructure and vital public services, which are critical to the nation's long-term resilience and development. By investing in these foundational sectors, Burkina Faso is laying the groundwork for an economy that can withstand external shocks and foster sustainable growth. This approach stands in stark contrast to the debt-dependent strategies frequently pushed by international financial institutions like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund (IMF), which often dictate policies that keep African nations locked into cycles of debt and dependency. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso has become a symbol of defiance and bold action in the face of a global financial system that has historically exploited African economies. Captain Traoré has shown that African nations can break free from the chains of foreign debt, and that the key to economic freedom lies in controlling their own financial destiny. As he has pointed out, Western nations, particularly the United States, will never default on their debt because they can print their own currency. In contrast, African countries are shackled by the necessity to repay their debts in foreign currencies, mostly the US dollar. This system of forced repayment perpetuates Africa's economic vulnerability and maintains its dependency on the West. Critics have long highlighted how institutions like the IMF and the World Bank enforce policies that prioritize the export of cash crops over food production, thereby ensuring that African nations remain dependent on imported grain. Should they choose to break away from this imposed economic order, African nations risk severe repercussions, including sanctions and the withholding of vital food supplies, reinforcing their dependence on foreign powers. By repaying its domestic debt, Burkina Faso is making a bold statement against this exploitative system. The government's decision to focus on strengthening local businesses and stabilizing the national economy is a direct rejection of the external dependency model that has hindered the progress of so many African nations. This action is not just a financial maneuver, it is a declaration of sovereignty and self-determination, a clear signal that Burkina Faso is ready to chart its own course in the global economic landscape. In recent years, Burkina Faso has proven its resilience in the face of adversity. Despite the ongoing security and financial challenges, the country has managed to maintain a steady focus on building critical infrastructure, improving basic services, and fostering national resilience. The successful repayment of domestic debt is a testament to the country's commitment to these goals, and it serves as a powerful example to other African nations that financial independence is within reach. For those looking to understand the broader context of Africa's ongoing debt struggles, Professor Pielo Lumumba's analysis offers valuable insight. He has long argued that Africa's reliance on external financial systems limits its ability to develop independently, and his commentary sheds light on the larger forces at play. His perspective highlights the importance of Burkina Faso's recent achievement and the potential it holds for inspiring a new era of African self-reliance. By prioritizing its domestic debt repayment, Burkina Faso is not just improving its own economic prospects, it is setting a powerful precedent for other African nations to follow. It's a bold step toward dismantling the structural barriers that have kept Africa economically subjugated for decades. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is proving that it is possible to challenge the status quo and reclaim economic sovereignty. While Burkina Faso's journey is far from complete, its recent accomplishments serve as a beacon of hope for the continent. The country's example demonstrates that with visionary leadership, strategic planning, and a commitment to self-reliance, African nations can break free from the chains of debt and build a future of prosperity and independence. What are your thoughts so far on today's video? Drop your comments below, and be sure to explore my other videos on the latest trends. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting stories from around the world.